Hello everyone, this is Joanna. Thank you so much for coming back. These are going to be your messages for the month of February 2019. Happy Valentine's Day for those of you who are celebrating. Very interesting energies. Majority of the signs, if not everyone that I've done, has had a lot of information about how to heal our hearts. And my intention is, as always, and I will repeat this again, my intention is to help you see certain things perhaps that you were not able to see before, and to help you perhaps recognize certain thought patterns. My passion is to help you think differently about yourself so that you can align yourself more in terms of abundance. So what a beautiful time to talk about healing our hearts, because February, traditionally speaking, is considered to be the month of love, at least in North America. So there's a lot of information on what might be tripping you up, how you are holding yourself hostage, what makes you stuck in your own inner prison, and what are some of the things that you can do in order to shift and change that, in order to attract love, abundance, prosperity, health, whatever it may be. So in some of the signs, there were exercises that were given to you from spirit, so you might want to listen to the other signs. At the end of the day, keep in mind that we all have attributes of all the signs. So if you're drawn to a certain sign that you're not necessarily one, just listen to your intuition and see if there's anything you can gain from there. At the end of the day, my aim is to help and enlighten you in a way that allows you to become a much more empowered being. With that said, if there is anything that doesn't make sense to you when you listen to it, do listen to it again down the road. I always say these messages will make sense to high majority of you as time goes on. The messages that I give, or the information that comes through, is very much relating to everything that we all experience, human condition. So you may be drawn to a different sign that you're not necessarily listening to, but something inside you says, hey, listen to it. You listen to it, and boom, that's your situation. Anyway, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Do let me know how these messages connect with you. I am using a different camera this time, so some of the messages you'll notice I'm switching between two different cameras. The angles are different on my camera, so sometimes I look in different places, and if that's the case, my apologies. I am not used to this new equipment yet, so it may not be as smooth as I wanted to, so just bear with me. As time goes on, I will perfect it. Again, thank you so much. I wish you best of luck for private sessions. For private sessions, that information is down below for you. And if you would like to see the longer projections for 6 months, that information is down below for you on Vimeo. Thank you again so much. My name is Joanna the Medium. I wish you a wonderful month of February, and let's get going. Hello, beautiful sign of Cancer. These are going to be your messages for the month of, I almost said November, February 2019. Before we know it, it's going to be March and summer again. Well, I want to say congratulations to some of you. As in, congratulations are in order. Your expectations are becoming visible to you. Why would I say this? Because I feel a lot of you have been doing a lot of hard work, predominantly on yourselves. When I tune into your energy, and I'm actually trying to ask, where do I start? I feel when I'm you, well, some of you at least, I feel like I've endured a long battle. And I feel like I'm at the end of whatever the battle is, could be with yourself or with somebody else or a situation. And I feel tired. I feel restless and tired at the same time. And I am beginning to figure out what it is that I truly want for myself. Bear in mind, I am being you. So if I was to say that some of you have experienced difficulties in the last little while, particularly last year. 2018 was difficult for a lot of people. It would be an understatement. Many of you have made or had to make some important choices or life choices, life decisions in your life that were of great importance to you. This is going to be a lot about relationships, but remember, we have relationships with ourselves. And I'm being shown that many of you chose to tear down what is no longer working, or tear apart aspects of your life that were like a facade. What does that mean, like a facade? Aspects of your life that were there maybe more for other people than for you. And I'm going, well, what on earth could that be? An example would be if you are someone whose opinion is very important to you, you would spend a lot of time making sure that you put yourself in such a way, or you are a certain way in order for people to like you. And although everybody wants to be liked, that's not the case. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But when we constantly evaluate ourselves in ways that makes us feel less than somebody else, then we get a little bit into trouble. And I feel if some of you have been putting on this act of needing to be somebody in order to be loved, to be liked, to be hired, to be accepted, to belong, whatever it is, I feel it's being shown to me that many of you tore that down. Not because you're not wanting to be the best version of yourself, but you are choosing to no longer deny yourself the ability to be you, fully and truly, authentically you. And that comes as a priority rather than trying to make people like you, accept you, whatever that may be. And needless to say, that is a transition time when we move on from being a pleaser to move more into being, I'm going to say it, in love with ourselves. And your sign, like all the others, it feels like there's a lot of components of healing our hearts, healing your hearts. So this is going to be a lot of emotional stuff, emotional talking. But what a beautiful month to address that in, because February is traditionally thought of, at least in North America, as month of love. So I want to congratulate those of you who have been working tirelessly in establishing or reestablishing your own firm foundation. That means that some of you had to get rid of stuff that was no longer good for you. Some of you decluttered, and that could be things, people, or situations. And that could be home stuff as well, where you decide to throw away the things that no longer serve you, things that are outdated, people who you no longer have anything in common with, or people whose commitment to you was based on you not appreciating yourself. What does that mean? If you have been in a relationship, for those of you who have left something behind, if you have been in a relationship where you were, I want to say, abused or borderline abused, many of you have chosen to no longer participate in that kind of a transaction. You looked at your life, you looked at yourself, and you said, I don't want this anymore. I can't do this. And this is where many of you decided to put a stop into some very long-standing conflict you've had within yourself that eventually has helped you created your situation. So bottom line is this. If you are one of those individuals who has been working hard on yourself, particularly in the last year and a half to 2 years, congratulate yourself, because you are closer than you think. Now, what could you be closer to? I actually have the card that I think speaks about that. You're closer to something good than you think. Now, I'm not saying you guys are not in a good place, but clearly I am talking to those of you who have struggled with an aspect of your life, be it job, career, relationship, whatever it may be, something that made you perhaps have few sleepless nights in the past. Sounds like many of you categorically decided to no longer pursue something that is toxic to you. And for some of you, it would have been a very hard decision to make. For some of you, you may have to let go of a family member or someone, a good friend perhaps, where you were always the one managing the relationship and you were always the one doing the calling or the texting or whatever, and your friend perhaps was just a passive observer. And if you were friends for a long time, then you would have had to make a decision that would have been hard for you. Point is, many of you are clearing things up. I will start with the cards because I feel that's what this is leading into. What is leaving behind? What is it that you're leaving behind, but it's still kind of sort of affecting you? Well, Two of Cups in reverse to me always symbolizes ending of a relationship or ending of a commitment. So clearly, a lot of you have left something behind that once was appealing to you, but then it turned out to no longer serve you. So some of you have left a relationship, some of you relationship left you. You have decided to pursue a different job or a different career. Any commitment you had with something in your life where you were heavily invested or emotionally invested, something chose to be no longer. I also see somebody tearing up a contract. So perhaps some of you have put an end to a contract that was no longer serving you. So the contract could be in any situation, I suppose, could also be marriage. Now, because it's still affecting you, I feel that's why the message is you are closer than you think, closer to your own freedom, a sense of accomplishment, whatever it is. This is leaving you. So if it hasn't left you already, it's in the process of doing so. I feel this is for many of you some sort of a commitment. You have, I don't want to repeat myself, but you get the picture. Something has left your life. Now, for some of you, it represents a drastic change that happened last year, and you are still in the process of recovering from it. If that is the case, the comment about you being closer than you think is very important for you to hear. When I was kind of organizing the cards here, and when I was shuffling cards, I kept feeling that many of you are in the process of the symbolism of a star is coming up from tarot card, from the tarot, number 19. And that is about a renewal. It's about hope, which also tells me in order to be renewed, you had to go through something that had to die. So there's no question that many of you are in the last little while left something behind. And I want to say good times are ahead. And when I say this, I know that some of you may not feel that in the month of February. So with having said that, what is it that you might be expecting? Well, one card came up and I thought, I need a clarification. And another card came up and I thought, not getting any clear. So Knight of Swords came up and King of Cups. For those of you who know me or who've followed me for a while, I don't read cards the traditional way, whatever that means. I'm just not a tarot reader. I know some symbols by now, but I'm not a tarot reader. So to me, I mean, yes, it may symbolize, males in your life for sure. And we can talk about that a little bit actually. But to me, this symbolizes aspects of you. So the Knight of Swords to me says that you may feel like your thoughts are on point. You may feel like you are changing the way you feel internally, in your thinking faculty, and you're becoming much stronger. This person, a knight, is on a horse that's charging forward. And I want to say, for some of you, February may feel like a brand new beginning. There seems to be a destination this knight is going towards or moving towards. I do not know what the destination is. I feel like it's more of you getting your bearings back, you feeling more in control, certainly more in control of your mind, and that will eventually lead you to decisions and situations that will allow you to prosper. The King of Cups to me represents, yes, this could be someone in your life that may be around you, generally an older person who is emotionally very stable. But again, this to me symbolizes an aspect of you. So if you haven't been feeling great in the last little while, particularly with all the changes going on, expect yourself to feel mentally and emotionally much more in charge and much more in control. Now, there is no coincidence why you will be feeling that. The non-coincidence is you've been working on yourself very hard. And sometimes in order to see the growth of our hard work, we have to wait, just like you wouldn't push out a baby earlier than 9 months, which is the traditional gestation period. Nature has its own timing, and things come to fruition when the time is right. So these are actually beautiful cards to get, in my humble opinion, because they represent a lot of stability and just energy that you're on top of it again. And I feel particularly with the Knight of Swords, many of you have been lacking energy. Many of you have been lacking feeling being in control, particularly of your thoughts. And when we are not in control of our thoughts, we are not King of Cups. We are King of Cups in reverse. We are also emotionally not very steady, and that never helps anything. So expect yourself to feel much more in charge, but almost like you've been charged. Imagine your battery and you've been drained, and now you're being plugged in to some source, whatever source you are plugged into, and your batteries are being recharged. So great month for you to feel that, because it feels, well, month of love, and it feels very fresh from that kind of a feeling. Lots of beautiful opportunities may arise. So where is this all leading you? Nine of coins. So this is stability. This is, you look at this woman in this case, she is surrounded by coins. Because this is a general message, it to me symbolizes emotional and physical stability, also mental stability. We see that here with the Knight of Swords. This lady here appears to have everything she wants. As a matter of fact, she is very relaxed. The dove here symbolizes the spirit. So the reason why this lady is abundant is because she is fully connected to her spirit, and that is really what brings forth her abundance. Therefore, he's asking me to talk about the flowers. So what is it about the flowers? Okay, so the flowers here represent a garden. This is a garden of your making. In order for you to have these beautiful flowers, you have had to plant the seeds or the bulbs in a soil that was rich and ready in order to ground the seeds. These flowers symbolize the end effect, the end result of your hard work attending to the garden. And I've never heard that explanation being given to me, so this is actually first time I'm being asked to say this. The predominant colors here that I see are green, of course, which is healing, red and purple. Red to me is symbolic for your first chakra, and first chakra is all about safety and stability. Finances, when in place, are certainly responsible, or at least can help us feel safe and secure. So this is where this is leading you. Purple is our commitment to ourselves in terms of spirituality. So you are only as rich as you are spiritually rich. And that, another way of saying it is, when you feel good inside, when you start working, when you feel good inside, and when you let go of things that no longer serve you, okay, when you let go of people who drag you down, when you let go of situations that suck you dry, when you let go of commitments you've had that resulted at the end of the day in you neglecting yourself, then eventually you get to a point where you decide and choose to feel more important about you, and therefore to take care of yourself more seriously. So if you have been taken advantage before by a person or many people, chances are you have chosen to say no thank you, and as a result of that you decided to build your own confidence and feel good about you. When you are full of confidence inside of you, and I'm not talking about the confidence that's ego driven. It's not the confidence that you say, hey, look at me, I'm confident. That's not confidence. It's that quiet space inside of you that says, I'm good. I'm good. Yes, things may have happened, but I'm solid. I am important. Not because I do this, or not because I have this, not because I'm with this person, not because I wear this. I am important simply because I am. And that takes, in order to feel that, generally people don't feel that. Generally people come from lack mentality, from various different backgrounds. But when we finally get to that point, it means that you have done some deep work in terms of your own safety and security, or how you feel about yourself. That kind of a work on yourself is what brings you this. Whether it's a job, whether it's more money, whether it's a fantastic opportunity, whether it's a brand new relationship, this is the result of your hard work. But it isn't so much hard work action oriented, hard work you doing things. This is more a result of you doing work on yourself. In other words, when you decided to stop complaining about your situation and you actually chose to do something about it, end it, or do something else, as a result of that and of your reconditioning yourself in terms of thinking, this is eventually what you're going to get. So this is a message for those of you who have been working really, really hard on attaining something or on achieving something, and this is the end result. So this may not happen in February. However, I am feeling the month of March, and for some of you, it's for the rest of the year, somewhere there, many of you will feel like this person here. So if this is not how you feel right now, then it is important for you to attend to your garden. What does that mean? If you are the garden, then what does it take for you in order for your garden to give you these beautiful flowers? First and foremost, you need to adequately take care of your garden. You need to nurture yourself. You need to give your apologies, a phone call came in. I didn't realize that it ends the video. So anyway, what are some of the things that you would need to do in order for your garden to produce these flowers? Remember, it's a metaphor. You need to adequately give it water. So perhaps this is a message for you to drink more water. You need to make sure there's no weeds. What are weeds? Well, the thoughts in your mind that implement ideas that are ultimately make you feel not good on any level, those are the weeds you want to take care of. At the end of the day, in order to have a beautiful garden, you have to not only maintain it when the growth happens to be visible to you, but also you have to make sure that before these beautiful flowers begin to take effect. Yes, effect. Is that the right way of saying it? You guys get it. You need to make sure that you attend to your garden. So that's a huge metaphor about taking care of yourself. You guys know what that means. Now, what might be standing in your way? What might be tripping you up? Very interesting. Coming full circle is a message that says, many of you are leaving something behind. Coming full circle means you've gone as far as you can in this particular situation, whatever it may be, whether it's situation, whether it's the way you think, whether it's your career, your job, whatever it is. You are coming to an end of that situation, and it's time to move on to something different. It also means that you have learned the lessons that you were dealing with. I don't like the word lessons, but let's stick with that. And it's time for you to draw conclusions from those situations. So for those of you who have left something behind, or something have left you, it is actually extremely important for you to draw positive conclusion out of the situation that is no longer with you, out of the situation that you left, or out of the situation that left you. Why is it important? Number one, when we emotionally connect to the benefit of what a difficult situation gave us, we then are able to let go, or it's easier to release the negative connection to whatever situation there was. Let's say I'm going to use a drastic example. Let's say you were in a relationship and you were manipulated, and you kind of allowed that to happen. And even though your intuition was screaming at you, you chose not to hear it for whatever reason. It's because you're used to that kind of a relationship. You don't think of yourself very much. You generally let people disrespect you, whatever it is. Point I'm trying to make is that eventually when it ended, you need to ask yourself, how has this relationship served me? Well, you might say it didn't serve me at all. And my comment to that would be, you would not be in a relationship if it didn't serve you. So it is important for your own sake and for the sake of your own evolution to draw positive, very important, positive conclusions that ultimately will benefit you as a human being, and you will take that wisdom, that knowledge, that understanding, and you will allow that to help you moving forward. It's they're asking me to say it's one of the easiest way to let go of something that proved to be very challenging or very difficult. Always remember, we may not like the things that are in front of us, but the things in front of us are always there to help us learn something about ourselves that we previously didn't know. So as in this example, for example, if you were in a relationship, let's say, that sucked you dry, and this has been the type of thing that you've done for a while, then you might look at that relationship and ask yourself, if I was to see this relationship on a movie screen, me seeing myself going through the motions, what would I see about myself that I didn't see then? What would I see about myself that I allow to this situation to continue? In other words, one of the things you may have learned about yourself is that your own level of self-esteem is not very low, because if it was higher, you would not have put up with that kind of information or that kind of situation. You may also have learned that your need to be accepted or to be liked, or your fear of rejection, was much bigger than the discomfort that you were experiencing when somebody was using or abusing you and you chose to stay there. So those are all these wonderful nuggets and pieces of information that you can draw from these experiences. Use them as valuable information. Use them as value that you now have inside of you, so that you can take the learning and move on and do things very differently. That will help you tremendously disconnect emotionally, so you don't drag your baggage forward. It does not discount what happened. It does not minimize what happened. It does not say what happened was okay. But what it does, it allows you to make an emotional attachment to something that ultimately ended up being an experience that brings you value versus negative. It's very important to do that with any situation that we are dealing with, particularly the ones that are not comfortable. Anything else, we are allowing ourselves to be basically victims. And you may have been victimized before, but if you remain in that frame of mind, then it's going to be very difficult for you to grab the bull by the horn and claim your power back. So, but I'm not concerned, because this is ultimately where you're going. But the fact that you are at the end of a cycle, that you are coming full circle, may make this a little bit challenging, because it ultimately means it's time to let go. And perhaps it's the emotional attachment that you need to let go of. Perhaps it's an attachment you've had long time ago to a family member, and now it's playing out in your relationships. I mean, you guys know how this works. I think you guys know. So what might be working for you? Well, fantastic. Ride the wave is another message that basically says the conditions are in your favor. You see these two dolphins, they're very playful. I almost see it as a mother or son for some reason. So maybe for some of you, this is a message for a mother and a child. Maybe the two of you are like a team. There's something about that's going to be not for everybody, obviously. Dolphins to me also represent a lot of healing. So what I'm seeing here is that through these experiences that you have gone through, I feel some of you have realized you have healing abilities. And perhaps now that you are out of a certain experience, you can start an experiment with those abilities. So look up the animal totem dolphin and see what other extra messages there are for you. Because I'm being asked to say this. So for some of you, dolphin symbology is going to mean something to you. But you see they're being playful. They are taking advantage of the wave. So you are in times where there's a lot of favorable conditions for you to move forward with something. Doesn't surprise me. This is where you guys are going. Now, again, this could be job, this could be commitment, this could be relationship, this could be money, this could be anything. Point is, when you look at this person, she's surrounded with money, and there's in her back, she's supported. Like there's a support in her back. And all these flowers are symbolic of, well, beauty, pleasure, nature, and symbol of the dove is a symbol of spirit. Notice how you would feel if this was you, how would you feel? Remember, you are after a feeling. What else do I want to say? Yes. So I asked for a message. I said, if there's anything that I really need to tell them, what is it? Number one, your commitment to yourself is your number one priority. Always. I don't care who you are, where you come from. And that may sound very harsh, I realize as I'm saying it. But at the end of the day, the real reason why you are here first in a physical body is for you, number one, for you. Then it's for everybody else. So we are here to contribute to our society, to our families, to our friends. Absolutely. I love working with people. It's actually my high. However, I also have learned, and so are you, that in order for me to be a very effective mentor, healer, medium, whatever you want to call it, I have to take care of myself. I have to make sure that my emotions are in check so that I don't get triggered all over the place where I get information that's not very comfortable. So if I didn't do that, I might be doing my thing, but I may not be as effective. That's just the way it is. So that's the example I'm being asked to use for those of you who have had tendencies in the past to neglect your own needs in favor of making somebody else happy because you believe their happiness is what makes you happy. And of course we want to have people happy around us, but our job is not to make them happy. Our job is to be happy ourselves, and us being happy can help another person be happy because they watch you and they want what you have. So they will perhaps emulate the things that you do, but you can never give somebody happiness. If I said, here's happiness, $10 right there, it doesn't exist. Plus it comes from within. And is there anything else I need to say? So the number 7 comes up over and over for you, but you are in July. Your birthday is in July, June and July. So perhaps for those of you born in July, there will be more significance with this. If that's not the case, then the number 7 to me symbolizes enlightenment. And perhaps it's a lucky number for some of you. Also, for those of you who see 555, particularly 555 for some reason, I feel this message is going to be extra important. And I think that's all I have. I'm not sure what the time is because now my videos are in 2 pieces. So as I said before, I'm trying new equipment and the angles are different. So sometimes I look in different places because I haven't quite got the hang of it yet. But if I'm to leave this with you, what I am going to say this. Always remember that you are important no matter what. You're not important because of what you do. Could be, but that's not why you're important. You're not important what you drive. You're not important because of how you look. You're not important because of how much money you have. You're not important because of who you're with. You're important because you are. And you need to own that. And I'm not saying walking around and say, hey, I'm important, listen to me. That's not what I'm saying. That's not confidence. It's about owning you as the beautiful being that you are. And I know we all struggle. There's no question. But for those of you who have been struggling for a while with feeling good about your own skin, I feel you are finally starting to get to the point where, emotionally speaking, you're starting to feel much more in control. Just like the King of Cups suggests. Total control. In charge. I kind of don't like the word control, but he's in charge. He's in control. Just because he's in charge doesn't mean that this person is mean or somehow, rigid. No, it just means this person is sure of himself and he or she is able to manage their emotions in a way that make him feel like he's in charge. Always remember, when we have problems, it's because our intellect and our emotions are out of whack, are out of balance. That's when we're out of balance. That's what happens. So I'm glad to see this because, again, many of you are coming full circle, and that's a good thing. So whatever situations you are dealing with or were dealing with, draw positive conclusions from it. I'm sure you have 1,000 negative ones, but draw positive conclusion from it. And at the end of the day, that situation was meant to help you evolve in a way that you will begin to learn how to appreciate you for being you, or how to love yourself. I know the phrase love yourself sometimes freaks people out. It used to freak me out too, because I had total unworthiness stuff. But perhaps I'm saying that to you because that's some of you, maybe that's what you're dealing with. So I'm going to leave that with you. I wish you a wonderful month of February. Take care of yourself. Yes, for some of you, please drink more water. Some of you need more bananas in your life. And I think it's because it's potassium. So maybe that's being funny. I don't know. Of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below, as always. And thank you for sharing, for liking, for subscribing, and for commenting. I would love to read your comments. I read every single one. If this makes no sense to you at the beginning of a month, please do check in with it, even in March. Because as we know, this is fluid and this can transpire later on or may have already transpired. So just kind of keep that in mind. Thank you again so much. I wish you best of luck and see you soon.